Greetings, all. What an interesting conversation last week on designing a group for um, parents of the child dealing with autism. Um, I want to reflect on some themes. Um, there was general agreement regarding the importance of co-creating the group with the group members themselves. And that's very important. Also, understanding, as several of you mentioned, that uh, there is no one size fits all. Every group is different and has different needs. You discussed a range of formats, closed versus open, time limited versus ongoing, and each of you provided a very reasonable rationale for your position. As Michelle and Jennifer point out, drop-in groups meet the needs of stressed families. And then on the other hand, as Juan points out, if a group is ongoing, it will give the parents an opportunity to grow and learn strategies for each other, from each other as their children grow. And so your argument for a long-term group makes also perfect sense. You also describe how parents can develop close relationships and create an ongoing peer-to-peer support system far beyond the ending of the group, and that's helpful as well. You had a variety of ideas regarding the focus of a group. Sheila, you introduced the idea of arts and creativity, and Sienna, you talked about meditation, and Joanne in India talked about the benefits of focusing on problem solving. Anthony discussed advocacy. Diana and Roanne discussed the usefulness of community involvement. Sometimes it can be very powerful for group members to become advocates themselves, as you also pointed out, Anthony. You had a variety of ideas regarding the structure of sessions. William provided the information sharing and resources model. Several of you thought it would be useful to have topics or themes for each meeting. Several of you considered the usefulness of psychoeducational groups. Dalen, you talked about providing information about research and techniques. Jenny, about community resources, and Ryan, you discussed the usefulness of having guest speakers on specific topics. You also underscored the very important point of contact with professionals being particularly critical in rural areas. And you also mentioned the usefulness of having an adult with autism speak to the group. Some of you talked about skills training. Michelle, you were describing the usefulness of a task-centered group, helping parents support educational and therapeutic interventions with their children. And Jose, you agreed, suggesting that a parents group could be an extension of the children's group, even including lessons and homework for parents. Sarah suggests parent and child sessions, and this would provide an opportunity for normalization of the challenges faced by families, and would allow parents to, in real time, learn strategies from one another. You discuss stress reduction and mutual support, and several of you had very specific rationales for the importance of a mutual support. Tara, you described parents feeling isolated. Several people talked about the importance of normalizing distressing feelings, opportunity to vent to others who understand, comparing notes about what has worked and what hasn't. And several of you agree with Ryan that the group itself can offer a wealth of knowledge, one member to the other, far beyond what the facilitator alone could offer to the group members. Ryan, you also talked about building relationships, and the importance of team building in creating a supportive environment. Several of you talked about social events that are open not only to parents and children, but to all families and friends. Carnival night, barbecue, at a park, all these, as you say, are great opportunities for interactions. And they appear to extend beyond the traditional framework of a group, but who's to say then what the framework of a group has to be? You all seem to be in agreement that the framework that you choose has to meet the needs of the group members. You discussed role play that will help parents deal with challenges and successes and anticipated situations. And Tara and Jenny talked about the importance of respite and childcare. And William, you discussed the importance of having an opportunity to have a space to get away from the, as you put it, the daily grind. So overall, you agree that no one size fits all. Each group, as you point out, Ryan, has a life of its own, as if it was a living, breathing organism. As you say, some groups prefer to engage community resources and push advocacy, while other groups prioritize exploring emotions and personal frustrations in a safe environment. Julie, you agree, saying, I think the golden part is the group's ability to take on a life of its own, constantly adjusting, morphing, and growing. Several of you thought it would be useful for each session to have a general topic, ranging from conversation about the pros and cons of mainstreaming children, or parents' experiences of shame, or simply the mechanics of how to get through the day, like get kids dressed and ready for school in the morning. Ryan and several others pointed out the importance of internet-based support groups. And that, as you all point out, can be particularly useful also in rural areas. In general, multiple family group therapy, which is what we're talking about, is a very powerful medium. As you say, it does provide mutual support. It puts together people who have diverse levels of experience. Members can educate and encourage each other. Older members can give new members hope and perspective. And So overall, you have engaged in a very thoughtful, um, creative exploration of what sort of support group would be helpful to parents. And um, my hat's off to you again for your continuing generosity um, and an investment in applying your own creative analysis to the concepts we're learning. Well done.